Hi, this is Capt. Up here on behalf of the Convention of States Florida team. We're always looking for places to meet with the public and get more support for our mission. And this week we happened to go down to Clearwater, where we attended the Tampa Bay Trump Club meeting and had some support for our Convention of States movement. I had a group of volunteers come along with me to support me, which was great. We had some people from around the St. Petersburg area come. Some new members, Jean Marie Thrower and Mark Swanson, both attended the event. They're both in House District 69, which is down in St. Pete. The meeting kicked off with James Stratton, the president from the Tampa Bay Trump Club, giving everybody a little bit of an explanation of what was going on there tonight. He was joined by speakers like Penny Lee Todd of the Florida Sheriff's Youth Branch, Kelly Rossi from Eckert Connects Kids, Socrates Charles from Socialism to Marxism in Greece. They had their elections. They also had an auction for the kids where they raised almost $1,000 for their cause. And then it was time for me to speak.
Driven by George Mason, Pension Clause, or 2/3 of the several states shall call a convention of states for proposing amendments. This was a last-minute clause with the intent for the people to protect the republic. Now we all know that Washington, D.C. is broken. They will never relinquish their own power. The only conclusion to the problem is some political force outside of D.C. must intervene. And that's us, we the people, and Article 5, Convention of the States. The federal government in its present form will continue to bankrupt the nation, embezzle the legitimate authority of the states, and destroy the liberty of the people, rather than securing the blessings of liberty for the future generations. The abuses of the federal government are not mere instances of bad policy. The federal government has been subjecting us to soft tyranny for years, in which the government regularly softens and bends and guides you. So here we are now, some 230 years into this self-governance experiment, and this will be the first time that we, the people, are stepping up for liberty. We're building the largest army of self-governing citizens since 1776. So join us, volunteer to be part of the movement. Now, Florida is a past state. Our legislature passed a resolution in 2014. There's now nobody left in the House of Representatives in Tallahassee that were there when the resolution was passed. That's why it's so important for us to stay active. By getting new petition signatures, the present district representatives and the senators in Tallahassee get letters saying their constituents that support the Convention of States. We need to keep this in front of them, as they still have to decide who will go to the convention and what amendments we as the state want to discuss at the convention. Each state has only one vote, but they can send a group of people to take part in the discussion. The delegates are bound by law to do the will of the state legislature. This is what the convention is all about, opening a dialogue between the states to propose amendments. And that's all we can do at the convention is propose amendments. Then the process moves on to ratification. The process is then the same as if Congress had proposed the amendments. They go back to the states for ratification. A supermajority is needed to ratify an amendment, and that's 38 states right now. It's not going to be easy. So going back, in order just to get to the Convention of States, we need 2/3 of the states. That's 34 states. We now have 15, so we need 19 more. And there is active discussion, if not active legislation, in 29 of the remaining 35 states. We only need 19. Then it goes back to the states, and we need 38, a supermajority of the states, to ratify. Some of the silver lining in that is that you only need 13 states to put down an amendment that you don't agree with. And the politicians in D.C. have nothing to say about it. The Constitution is very clear. Congress's only input, if we get to 34 states, is, and I'd like to quote the Constitution, it shall call a convention of states for proposing amendments. Here in Florida, we the people want to be involved in this process. To quote one of the Declaration of Independence architects, and who also was one of our greatest presidents, Thomas Jefferson, we in America do not have a government by the majority. We have a government by the majority who participate. And all tyranny needs to gain a foothold is for people of good conscience to remain silent. And that's what we refuse to do, is remain silent. The Convention of States has a three-part platform. We like to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government. That's a nice way of saying balance the budget. We'd like to limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government. Stop the overreach by the federal government. And the third one is limit the terms of office for its official. And that's my favorite term limit. It's good enough for the president, it's good enough for everybody in Washington, D.C. Holding an Article 5 convention is only the beginning, and they made it hard. It shouldn't be as easy as a stroke of a pen to amend our founding document. There's been 400 applications in our 230-year history to have a convention, but no one has ever got 2/3 of the states to agree for the same reason to have the Article 5 convention. Our movement's on the way. We have 15 states already, just 19 to go. And what about that overspending? It's another giant problem. The almost $28 trillion national debt is staggering, but it only tells part of the story. Under standard accounting principles, the federal government actually owes well over $100 trillion or more in vested benefits like Medicare, Medicaid, welfare, and retirements. Believe me, they can't tax themselves out of this problem. Even if they taxed 100% and took everyone's riches in the United States, it still wouldn't cover the mountain of debt that we've already accumulated. The founders believed that a structure of limited government would provide the greatest protection of liberty from tyranny. Not only were there checks and balances between the federal branches of the government, power was to be delineated between the states and the federal government. The latter, the federal, was to exercise only those few and defined powers specifically granted in the Constitution, while the state's powers were left broad and undefined. The protection of liberty requires a strict adherence to the principle that the power of the federal government is limited and enumerated. The problems are big in D.C., but we have a solution as big as the problem, and it's Article 5, and it is our best chance. The framers adopted this convention process so that the Congress did not have a monopoly on the amendment process. George Mason and the other great thinkers that engineered the founding document saw the procedure in Article 5 as a way that people, through their state legislators, could respond if the federal government became abusive or dysfunctional. Like I said, Article 5 is our best chance, and it may be our last chance, to take the power back from the elite, out-of-control career politicians and their appointed army of bureaucrats in Washington, and allow the people to safeguard liberty once and for all.
Let's do it!
Once the Article 5 Convention of States convenes, Congress and the D.C. bureaucracy will be powerless to stop it. We need all you to sign the petition and step up for liberty by joining our team and volunteering. We have leadership opportunities of all kinds. We're 5 million strong now and almost 2 million petition signatures, with over 150,000 of them in Florida alone. We need district captains to help organize the people. We need volunteers to get out to meetings like this. We have a team over here tonight. There's at least a half a dozen of us from the local area here. We show up at gun shows, we show up at home shows, all the while sharing the movement and getting petition signatures to drive the momentum. We are about bringing back the culture of self-governance across the nation. It requires patriots like you stepping up for liberty, being actively engaged in the political process. We need engaged citizens to step up in local governments and influence our representatives on the state level. Do we let someone else decide what's good for us?
No!
Or do we take the power back to the people and decide for ourselves? So to recap our mission here as a past state here in Florida, we're here to educate the new legislators about Article 5 We do that by getting petition signatures and by opening a dialogue about Article 5 with our district reps and senators. The second thing is educating the citizens about the Constitution and Article 5. We do that by having meetings, showing up at public meetings like we are here tonight. We also have a virtual town hall in this area once a month on the second Saturday of every month at 11 a.m. So sign up to be a volunteer and opt in for text messages and email alerts to see what's going on. We're constantly updating everyone on the events across the state and the rest of the country. We have to be ready to fight off efforts by the anti-Constitution groups who want to rescind or withdraw already passed applications. This year, we helped successfully fight off a rescission effort in North Dakota by having our team of telepatriots call our supporters in North Dakota and get them to call their legislators and fight against the rescission effort. And a few years back, here in Florida, we have successfully fought off a rescission effort right here in our backyard. Being silent is not what we do. And we are helping to prepare the legislature for the Article 5 process by crafting and passing measures that dictate how we will select and instruct delegates or commissioners to the convention. So again, I implore you to be engaged, do something, join us, volunteer, be part of history, share our movement with everyone you know. This is not about them or us, it's about we the people. Remember, we got to swamp the drain, so let's get to work. We're over in the back. Come over and sign a petition if you haven't already, or take some information home to share with your neighbors and family. Thank you very much.
The meeting moved on with a lot of other speakers. They had Cliff Gephardt from Conservative Grounds, Jeff Hawks from Community Patriots, Dawn Simmons from the Trump Squad spoke for a little bit, and Kathy Chamberlain was there from the Defend Florida, and Yvette Gaw from Make Americans Free Again. And finished up with Johnny Carroll from the Florida Republican Liberty Caucus, and he spoke about the democratic socialism in America. A special thanks to Brenda Carlin for traveling down from the Panhandle with her husband. She's our straight grassroots coordinator. Great job. And also the event was held at Muggs Sports Bar in Clearwater on Icod Boulevard. Remember, we have a three-part platform at the Convention of States to impose fiscal restraints on the federal government, limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government, and to limit the terms of office for everybody in Washington, D.C. And keep in mind that our foundation of this country is in self-governance. It's meant for the citizens to take care of themselves. So join our movement and bring the power back to the people. Here in Florida, the Convention of States movement is flourishing. We have lots of support. So join us at DennisDarragh.com/COS. And remember, these videos are brought to you by you and me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and share it. And you can join my adventure over at patreon.com/CaptainDennis. Just takes a small donation to become a patron and make all this possible. Thanks so much.